Hey, it's Jessica. I just launched a email prospecting course a couple of weeks ago now, I think. And since then, I've been talking a lot about cold emailing, warm emailing, landing clients by email, email prospecting, whatever you want to call it. I've been having conversations about it and about what works and what doesn't work and what people have tried and what they're struggling with and specific issues and response rates and all that kind of stuff. And the funny thing is that I've also started getting more cold emails. I don't know why. They're not from you guys, not from content writers, but from other businesses, other solopreneurs, other freelancers trying to pitch me, digital marketing services or web tech support services or lead generation services and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of what I'm seeing is it's not good. And that's putting it politely. Because yeah, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but they're just not good. So I wanted to talk about the three main mistakes that I find people are making. And this is from reviewing your guys' stuff, reviewing draft emails by content writers, and it's also from the emails that I'm getting from other people. So there's three main things that I'm seeing over and over and over again that just should not be happening. So number one is your subject line. Nobody is going to open your email if your subject line sounds like spam. It's just going to go to the spam folder. It's either going to do it automatically because their email provider is going to sort it there, or they're going to put it there as soon as they read that subject line and realize that the person it's from is somebody they don't know. So it's really, really important to make your subject line not sound spammy. And so an example of that is, I need 2 minutes of your time. This is something I actually received. It was from somebody that I didn't know. It was, it was an email address I didn't recognize, and I knew it was a pitch right away. I knew it was a pitch, and I was hesitant to even open it. I did open it out of curiosity, and the rest of the email was even worse. But don't start with something like, I need 5 minutes of your time. I need 2 minutes of your time. I need, can we set up a call? That's something you want to close your email with, not open it. Don't put it in your subject line. Another bad subject line is, here's my solution for you, or even worse, my content marketing services, content writing services, how I can improve your blog. Anything that sounds too salesy obviously is salesy. It's a sales pitch, and they're going to look at it as spam. Don't ever use all caps. The research actually shows that the best way to improve your open rate is to write your subject line like you would write it to a friend. And when we do that, we don't capitalize everything. We're not using capitalized structure, we're using sentence structure, which means capitalize your first letter of the first word, and that's it. The rest is lowercase. And write it like a sentence. Just put in a sentence about something that you're mentioning in the email or about something relevant, but make it not sales pitchy. So I like to put my subject line as something that recently happened to the company or is a recent blog article that I read on their website or something like that. So it might be, hey, saw you were mentioned in Forbes yesterday. That would be my subject line with a capital H and the rest all small. That's something you'd send to a friend. You see somebody mentioned in a magazine, you'd be like, hey, I saw that feature in Forbes. Like, it's natural. They're going to see that and think that maybe they know you somewhere, right? They're not going to think that that's spam. Another one that I use a lot is I'll use the title of an article of a blog that I read recently that they created. So if they just created one on 5 tips for process improvement, that may be my subject line. 5 tips for process improvement. 5 is capitalized, the rest is not. And I make sure that you mention it in the email. So if I use that as my subject line, then in the email, I'm going to say, hey, I just read your article on 5 tips for process improvement. I thought it was really great. So make sure it's relevant to your email. You don't want it to be clickbait, but make it sound natural. Think about if you were emailing a friend or a colleague, what kind of subject line would you create? Don't make it spammy. Don't make it too much. Don't make it sound like a sales pitch. Don't capitalize it. You can track your open rates. If you're familiar with how to do that, you can definitely do that and then try different subject lines to see which ones work better. But spammy subject lines is definitely one of the most frequent issues I see. Number 2, and this one is even worse. Number 2 is generic emails. Every email I have received from anybody pitching me via email has been generic. And immediately, as soon as I realize it's a generic email, I've lost interest. 100% immediately. Done. Not going to take your service. And I've had clients of mine say the exact same thing. They respond to me because they know it's not generic. They respond to me because it stands out. They respond to me because they're so sick of seeing the generic emails and they're so excited by somebody who doesn't do generic. And it's so easy to not do generic. So don't do it. Just don't do it. Generic, what I mean by a generic email is that you could write the same email and send it to 100 people. When somebody sends me a generic email, they're talking all about their business and what they can do. And they clearly have no clue what my business is or how they can benefit me. One of the emails that I got recently said, be the first in Everett Publishing Group to realize our capability or something like that. If they research my company at all on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on my website, on Google business listings, on any of the other places that my business is listed, they would realize I'm a solopreneur. I am the only person in my business, other than, contractors and admin, but I am the only person. So they would never say something like that. It's not a large company with tons of people. I'm not some middle level manager that wants to discover somebody and bring them to my CEO. It's not the way that it works. They clearly took no time to understand my company. They didn't say anything about my services, my business needs, what they could help me with. They actually talked about lead generation, and if they knew anything about me, they would know that that's never been an issue for me. Lead generation is actually something that I teach because I do so well at it. So it was very generic, and obviously they had no clue what my business was. I've had other ones that weren't quite so bad, but again, they said it started out immediately with, I provide, website copy and marketing support. And then it goes on to talk about what they do. And it didn't talk about my business. It didn't talk about my my niche, my industry, my value proposition. It didn't talk about anything that was personal. If you're selling web services to somebody, go look at their website. Say, hey, I checked out your website. I really like the way you laid this out. I think you could do this better. This is the service I provide that could help you. If somebody said that to me, I would want to have a conversation. Even though that's not a service I'm currently looking for, I know my website could be better. And if I got an email like that, I would absolutely be interested. But if you've given me a generic email and you've clearly not checked out my website, even though it's listed on all of my marketing material and all of my profiles, you haven't taken the time to do your research to look at how you can help me, I don't believe you can help me. And content writing clients are the exact same. They want to know that you've taken the time. I regularly win business because people know that I've taken the time. I mentioned something about their specific company, their specific industry, their specific blog post or article or white paper or website or profile. When I mention something specific about them, they know I took the time, they know I individualized, I personalized, and it's not a generic email I just sent out to 100 people. And I was willing to put in the time, the effort to do a little research to see how I can help them. And my response rates are so high because of that. So if you create an email that you can send to more than one company without adapting it in any way, your email's not good enough. So that's mistake number 2, generic emails. And then finally, the third mistake is not quite as serious as the other two, but it is very common, and that is too long of an email. Don't write a story. Nobody wants to read that. When you're email prospecting, you're sending your emails, you're pitching to directors, VPs, CEOs, entrepreneurs. These are high-level, experienced, educated, and bombarded people. When I was a project manager, I got hundreds of emails a day, and my VPs were much worse, much worse. The VPs and directors that I work with as clients, they get hundreds of emails a day, if not more. They're being bombarded. They don't have time to read a novel. They will just delete it. So keep it short, keep it succinct, get to the point. If you write too much, you have 2 issues. One, they're not going to take the time to read it. They're going to lose interest right away before they ever get to your point. And 2, you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard and you're going to push them away. You do not need to tell a story to sell somebody through email. You do not need to tell a story to get them to respond to you. The initial email should just trigger their interest. That's it. Short, sweet, to the point. Get them to come back to you and ask for more. You want to start the conversation. You're not trying to do the hard sell with the close in your first email. Think about when you're meeting a new person. You're not, it doesn't matter what the situation is. If you're meeting somebody that you're trying to build a working relationship with or a personal relationship with or anything else, you're not going to jump right into the sale. You're going to ease into it. You want to build the relationship, build the trust, learn more about what exactly they need, fine tune what you can offer to them, and then you try to close the deal. So the first email should just be, hey, some sort of introductory point to show that you've personalized, you've done your research. This is an individual email, it's not generic. Then, Do you need any content marketing services? I was wondering if you do, if you work with outside consultants for your content writing. I was wondering, do you ever use contractors to write your web articles? Something like some sort of question. So you're doing the intro, you're asking a question, one short, simple question. Then you're saying why you're asking, which is a very short version of your value proposition. So I'm asking because I write website copy for blah, blah, blah. And, 1 to 2 sentences as to why you're the person that should be doing this for them. And then, hey, do you want to connect? That's it. 150 words or less. That's all it should be. If you're writing 200 or more words, it's too long. It's too long, they're not going to read it. So it benefits them to keep it short because it's easy for them to read, it's easy for them to get to, they'll pay more attention. It benefits you to keep it short because you can send out more emails in a shorter amount of time. So keep it short, simple, to the point. And those are the 3 biggest mistakes that I see, and the 3 most common mistakes that I see. And often I see all 3 mistakes in the same email. So make your subject line sound natural and not like a spammy sales pitch. Personalize your email and keep it short and to the point. It's very easy, but if you do that, you're going to stand out from over 90% of the people out there today. And you're going to get a huge, huge boost in your responses and in the clients that you land just from doing those 3 simple things. Because unfortunately, not enough people are doing them. And if you're still struggling with email prospecting, if you're not getting the response rates that you want, if you're not landing the clients that you want, if you just can't understand what you're doing wrong, then check out my course on how to land clients by email. It goes through all of these tips and so much more. I walk you through the email creation process line by line. I show you how to personalize it for your business, your industry, your niche. And I also go through all of the other stuff, like what happens after you send that first email. If you want to know more about that, send me an email, join the Facebook group, or check out my website. It's jessicaeverett.com. Thank you.